opposites. Call it with the statements, call it with the sensitive. But no, I still hear the tone. You must be out of your mind, blowing me up on my phone line. Why you blowing up my phone line? Call me and I'ma decline. I'm gon' decline, and I'm gon' get back on my own time. Won't lie, I'm about to leave you on silence. Out of your mind, I'm about to leave you on silence. Why you blowing up my phone line? Call me and I'ma decline. I'm gonna get back to my own time. Won't lie, I'm about to leave you on silence. Still in the party, trying to disconnect, but you gon' stop me. You won't get out my head. So call it with the statements, call it with the sensitive. But no, I still hear the tone. You must be out of your mind, out of your mind, blowing me up on my phone line. Why you blowing up my phone line? Call me and I'ma decline. I'm gon' decline, and I'm gon' get back in my own time. Won't lie, I'm about to leave you on silence. I'm about to leave you on silence. Why you blowing up my phone line? Call me and I'ma decline. I'm gonna get back to my own time. It's you want this real bliss. I can hardly follow. You wanna take, I wanna take, like we gon' talk tomorrow. You want this real bliss. I can hardly follow. You wanna take, I wanna take. I'm about to leave you on silence.
Thank you for being here today. This is a really special event for so many people, not only here today as part of the audience, but around the world as well. It gives me my great pleasure to introduce my mate, scientist Dr. Robert Duncan. Would you please make him welcome? So we're just going to have a discussion today, back and forward, about a major topic that's affecting the world, and I'm just going to pass this over to Robert to initiate the whole discussion and give us a little bit of background on yourself, and
Sure.
that'll be wonderful.
Okay. I'm not sure how much background you want, but I consider myself one of the last Renaissance scientists, last Renaissance man. And I've studied everything from Beethoven to Shakespeare. I went to a private school in Connecticut, and then on to Harvard on the East Coast, where I was early in the 70s.
Lalita, run!
I declined. Harvard graduator. So taking my parents were paying for it. I worked at an artificial intelligence company. I forgot to mention, my undergrad focus was pre-medical and computer science. I decided I don't like blood of any kind. So unlike the rest of my family, I didn't become a doctor, a medical doctor. I liked robots and technology and computers. So after that, I worked for an artificial intelligence company did image recognition of all types. And I went back to school for a master's in biomechanical engineering, robotic engineering, like artificial hearts and those types of engineering majors. And then I went to school again, a different Ivy League, and got a business degree, master's of business administration, and then did a stint in some other work, went back for more schooling, get a PhD in artificial intelligence, but a very specific field, which is genetic algorithm optimization of artificial neural networks. So what that means is we were creating alien synthetic minds, emerging minds. And it's, when I say alien, it's not from another planet. We're just creating cybernetic minds. And there's a Dr. Wiener, and I think it was about 100 years ago when the CIA was created, that coined the term cybernetics, which means there is no distinction between a synthetic symbolic representation of intelligence or a biological one. In fact, they meet. You can have brain chips if you want, and it will all give rise to consciousness. And I just found that field fascinating. I did do a stint for doing management consulting for a Fortune 50 firm and got to travel worldwide quite a bit. Anyway, when I got recruited, headhunted by DARPA, Department of Defense, CIA, and I love high-end technology, and I wasn't immoral about it. I wrote the code to track the artificial intelligence code to track the Soviet nuclear submarine fleet. That was a big project for the Navy. Worked on robotic surgery for medicine for the Army. Voice recognition, conversation planning for chatterbots. You use them all the time now. Voice of God weapons we used in war, in the Gulf War, for example.
This is the V2K.
V2K, where we can project a sound you cannot plug your ears for to stop. And we'll get into a little more about how that particular technology works. But we told them in their language, this is all a lay down your arms. And it worked quite effectively because the technology is unexplainable to the common person who hasn't experienced it yet. And then I saw in society a lot of my work being misused on my own population. I'm like, that's exactly what I worked on, the things Craig's experiencing. And this was not supposed to be used on civilians. This was supposed to be a wartime weapon used for interrogation purposes, perhaps to maybe fatigue the enemy and
Snowden says he was astonished back then at
demoralize
the
them,
access he had at his
which
fingertips.
you can understand.
Most
the
notably
Department of Defense would be
including
quite
a computer
interested in this.
program
Wars
that, as he
without
put
blood.
it, could
that's
get
wonderful.
inside your thought process.
Being misused completely. I started my own investigation about 22 years ago.
Hundreds of people in the valley say
I became a human
hearing
rights
voices in their
activist
heads.
against torture.
Voices
All
being
forms of
transmitted
torture,
by
but
microwave or
mainly
other
this
methods.
Well,
kind of
several
torture
viewers
that
asked us to
Craig
investigate
will
what they
talk
call
about, what's
electronic
happened to him
harassment.
and people
KMIR
all
6's
around the
Angela
world.
Monroe joins us now with what she's discovered.
This wasn't the way it was supposed to be. And so my agenda since then has been to enlighten people, to educate them. I've gone to
You will be joining
the
a
Senate
lecture
Intelligence Committee, met with
from
23
Professor
senators in the United States.
Anthony Sutton.
With the head
Professor
of the
Sutton
LA
served at the Hoover Institute.
FBI, and to our dismay,
And the brain
our
invaders
words
were
fell on deaf ears of what was happening. No one understood the technology or even
Dr. Robert
believed it
Duncan
existed.
put together
And these are our leaders. We met with the Senate Intelligence Committee behind closed doors and, frisk for wires and bugs. They had never heard of MK Ultra, which they're the oversight committee of our intelligence agencies. And we had a huge hearing in the 1970s called the Frank Church hearings, a senator from my state of Idaho, but I know most people don't know where Idaho is. And it was very famous, and turns out the CIA was doing all this mind control testing.
September 1988.
In Canada.
It is the start of the fall semester at the University of California, Davis, where Cheryl Luther is beginning life as a law student.
I grew up in Sacramento, California. I was a receptionist at Kaiser Hospital for 10 years. I decided that I wanted to go back to school. So I went to UC Davis.
It's good to be
As
here.
her studies get underway,
My name is Steve Hoffman, but in Silicon Valley they call me Captain Hoff, and that is my nickname. I am the captain of Founderspace,
it starts with a
and
telephone.
Founderspace
Usually you pick up a
is
phone
an
and
incubator
but
and
my
accelerator.
phone, there would be click
It went
noises.
black.
I kind of promised
Here we
Greg
go.
I wouldn't.
There'd be
Yeah, an incubator and
pop,
accelerator
and static.
that works all over the world. So
She has a
I
check
spend
the strange
70%
noises
of my
come from.
time
That's my
traveling the
introduction,
globe, looking at new
It's the first
technology.
of many plants
We
that
have
behave
over
So
50
we've talked
partners
this
in
about
22 countries.
Things in my environment, all of
And
the electrical
Wednesday
equipment didn't work anymore.
has been
My
rated by
computer,
Forbes
my
magazine
TV.
as the #1 accelerator for overseas startups in Silicon Valley.
Gross, as she discovers it's not
We have had
machines
many
that
famous
actually
startups
around
in our
her.
co-working space, Soma
Police cars
Central,
Panels
like
talking
Instagram,
about
AngelList,
Somebody tried to drive me off
Foursquare,
the road. I mean, I've
and
never had a
today
ticket. I've never
I'm
taken
going to talk
drugs.
about some of the technologies
So
that
when
People in
most
my environment were acting
fascinate
out of
me.
character. I was acting my normal
So,
self.
this is
Start
technologies
People
are the
were
future
acting
of the
weird.
brain.
People turned
Our
against me.
human brain
People would
and
stare
where
at
it
you.
is headed
Students
with
would
technology.
swear and spit.
So we examine our brain.
Weirder still,
We
random strangers are in the
will
streets
realize
seem to know exactly
that
what
for
she's
over
thinking.
I felt like I
100,000
was
years,
surveilled. I thought
our
somebody
brain has
could read my
remained the same.
thoughts.
Divide
But the
all
world
Cheryl's
around
personal
us
life falls
has
apart as
changed
friends look at him
radically.
and drift away.
So
Then,
think about it. We have the
she's
same
fired
brain
from her job.
as a
It was
prehistoric
like shock
cave
and awe. For
person,
3 years, it was like
as a
that.
Neanderthal. The same brain.
And I realized,
But
you know,
the
this
world
wasn't going to go
has
away.
totally
Despite
changed.
my best efforts.
That is the
That was
power
a
of our
really
brain.
depressing,
It's very
blackest
elastic.
moment of my
It can
life.
reprogram
I just
itself.
cried and cried and cried. I thought, why
But
not just end
now,
it?
we're going to
Theory
begin to
for
change our brain.
Cheryl
And
sees
we
that.
are doing this with new technology.
So I
Now,
went to
some of the
my
basic
advisor,
technology
and I
out
was having
there,
trouble academically.
EEG,
He helped me get
allows
through this, and
to actually
was the only one
measure
that believed
your
me.
brain
Her
waves.
advisor comes
And
to a
these
quick
devices can tell if your
Cheryl is the victim of
concentration level
deliberate
Yeah,
and
so I know
organized
there's
campaign.
to actually move a cursor on a screen.
First we checked out. We thought, maybe
There
it's a
are
psychology
applications
experiment.
for these
They're trying to
devices
stress you
in
out.
entertainment.
There was no psychology
They're
experiment.
working on them for
So I
controlled
hired private
games.
investigators, and I
In
tried to figure
medical,
out if
these
there were any
devices
bugs
are
in
being
my
used
apartment.
for
Nothing.
conditions
Talking to my
like
advisor, we both
P-
believe only the government would have the kind of
post-traumatic
control
stress
over your
disorder,
telephone or what you did in the privacy of your apartment.
and
Deciding to investigate,
ADHD and
Cheryl
other
gains access
conditions.
to government documents.
And they are used for, they're being
They
used for
reveal the
education.
unthinkable.
They are measuring, they have
top
applications
secret
now
experiment.
for children to
This
study.
subjecting everyday
And they
citizens
measure their
to mind
concentration
control.
levels and can actually change the application.
Major countries have
as
developed this
children
mind
learn.
control technology, especially Russia
But
and the
where
United
we're headed
States.
She's convinced the people
And
who
let me tell
harassed
you,
her
1 minute,
were under mind control
is
and didn't even know it.
these
Somebody used
devices
to make us
are
do
now
things,
capable
you know, against,
of actually
without their knowing it.
recording
Why
dreams.
chose Cheryl?
but
You're
not
going to
in
need
a
to
very
experiment on a lot of
granular
people. You
way.
can't do it ethically,
In a very
so you're
primitive
gonna
way,
do it
they can
covertly,
actually
you know.
capture
She thinks she
and
knows
identify
what put her on the
what a
government's
person is
radar.
dreaming.
Before I went to UC Davis,
So they have
I
done
went to the
studies
Army recruiting office.
where they put
Programming
these
your
devices
dreams, making
up to a
associations
person's head.
that are
They've
not
had them dream.
your
They woke them up,
self-autonomous.
and then they asked them to recall memories
entity.
in their dreams. And they read the patterns
This is a
of the brain.
conversation human race has
And
to
then
have, every
the person
government.
goes back to sleep,
And this
and
is
if they
why
dream
I
of the
was
same
talking
things,
about it,
they can
is to get
recognize
more
those
people
patterns.
interested
That
in
is just the
forest
beginning of
and
where we are
nature.
headed.
But
Right now, scientists in laboratories around the world are developing brain chips.
For the
Now,
Iraq
these are
War,
chips
as an example,
that can be inserted
to tell
into the
Iraqi
brain,
troops
and they are
when they were
wireless.
retreating, you can
And let me
basically
show
talk
you.
into a microphone
They
and
have
that can
actually had a
radiate
monkey
out to a
that
couple
broke
of
its back.
miles, 2 or 3 miles.
So its
and
spinal
they use
cord
that
was
to tell
severed.
the Iraqi forces
The monkey
that this
was
is the voice of
paralyzed
Allah.
from the
put your
waist
weapons
down.
down.
But they inserted a chip in the monkey's brain, and then they inserted another chip in its lower spine. And they allowed the brain to communicate with the lower spine. As soon as they did this, the monkey could walk. That is amazing. Totally amazing. So they could actually transmit the thoughts of the monkey wirelessly to parts of the body. But it gets even more amazing than that. So they now have, in a laboratory, monkeys with chips in their brains. And then they have an electric wheelchair. And just by thinking, just with the thought of the monkey, they can drive the wheelchair around.
What we see
Think about that.
is not what's
If a monkey can do that, what could you do if you had that chip in your brain?
extremely low frequency.
They have also done experiments with monkeys with a chip in their brain and a robotic arm. And the monkey, just by thinking, can reach out and grab something like food and feed itself. That is amazing if you think about it. So the monkey's thoughts are actually able to control things outside their body. So when we start to think about the future, about where technology is headed, this is where we're going. We will have brain chips in humans. And the brain people who will get those brain chips first are people who suffer from severe medical conditions. So if you have a severe medical condition, like you're paralyzed from the neck down, or you suffer a brain disorder like Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's disease, and that brain chip can restore your quality of life, would you hesitate to get the chip? No, of course not. You would say, put the chip in my brain. So that is starting right now, these experiments. And even more interesting, scientists have done experiments with rats, and they have chips in the rat's brain. And what they did was they taught a rat how to do certain things. And when the rat did all these complex things, it could get food.
He was a Yale
Now,
professor.
it took the rat weeks to learn that.
For neurology.
Weeks.
He would experiment with
But then
humans,
they hooked the rat's brain
by inserting
chip
electrodes
to the
into their
internet.
brain. He could
And they had
create
another
any
rat
type of emotion.
in another
He could
city.
move their bodies
And
in
instantly
certain
they connected
ways.
those two rats' brains.
Very brutal.
And
but
do you
that
know
was
what
allowed
happened?
During the Cold
The
War.
other rat knew how to get
Even
the food
inserted
right away.
brain chips
It didn't have to learn anything.
do it
The
remotely.
knowledge was transferred
This
from one brain
chip,
of a living
his
animal
most famous
to another brain.
experiment was using a
That
bullet.
is amazing. That opens up a world of possibilities. Because if they could do that in rats today, imagine 10 years from now what they can do in humans. And we will go there.
And that really
So, mind-to-mind communication. This is something of science fiction that we all read about. But this is actually possible today, as I just showed you. So there will come a point where if we have a chip in our brain, and you out there have a chip in your brain, we can communicate. We can communicate without talking. We can communicate when you're halfway around the world. And we can exchange knowledge. So, if you look at a world where we have these chips that are connected to the internet, all of a sudden, every piece of information on the internet becomes accessible to our mind. Now, when we look back at today, we have to go to Baidu or Google and type it in. That would seem so primitive. Nobody will do that. You will just think, what knowledge do I need? And it will appear there for you to use. But it gets even weirder. Stranger. Because we will not only be able to transfer knowledge, but we will be able to transfer memories. Now, so you could have an experience like skydiving, and all of a sudden you could transfer that experience to a friend, and all of a sudden they have experienced what you have experienced. It gets even weirder, because we will be living our lives as our lives. We know our lives and our memories. But you will also have access to anybody's life who wants to make it available to you. People will put open source their lives, so others can download pieces of their lives and experience those things. That will be really strange. We won't know the difference between our own memory and a memory we acquired from someone else. Think about that. It gets even stranger. So, all of us are here learning at Thebes, right? Getting EMBAs and MBAs. Well, this will be obsolete because Thebes will literally be in the cloud. And you will just download from all the best minds in the world whatever you need to know when you need to know it. Our brains we will no longer have universities as we have them today. That will change. Information will be on demand. Information will be commoditized. Knowledge will be commoditized. All of us will be smarter, have infinite amounts of storage, and infinite access to information. It will be unheard of. We will no longer be this isolated human being. We will be connected to everything. So, you can imagine, not only will we be able to get knowledge, but we can actually have full experiences in our heads. So right now we have these clunky VR units that we have to put on. But in the future, you can just download a whole environment and actually live in it. And all of you might say, this is not real. But you know, every night when you dream, those dreams are real. No matter how fantastic your dreams are, they are real. You feel like you're really there. Our brains have that capability already built in. All it takes is technology to stimulate and transfer the right images in our brains so our brain creates them, and then we will live like the difference between us dreaming and reality will be blurred. We will be spending a lot of time outside our body. So, think about this. You, as a human being, right now are trapped in this body. But once you are connected to the internet, you are no longer trapped in your body. You can actually be anywhere at any time that any other person or any other device is getting sensory information. So there could be a robot on Mars. You could literally tap into the robot on Mars and like you're on Mars, you can totally recreate the experience, including the sensations, the physical sensations, like everything of being on Mars. You can live through other people. Your favorite pop star, your favorite scientist. You could be in Elon Musk's head right now, walking around doing what he's doing, if Elon Musk allows you to do that. It gets so strange because our senses now, we have our five senses of our bodies. But suddenly, if we are connected to a world of intelligent machines and intelligent sensors all over, we will no longer have five senses. We will have access to hundreds of sensory inputs, infrared, right? All these UV, all these types of senses that today experience before. It will radically change how we perceive existence. So if we start to go down this path, we won't our life today, we Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism. What those religions promise us is that we will escape our body in the future. We will go to some heaven or nirvana or a state of non-being or a state of inclusiveness with everybody. No longer will we and our consciousness be confined to our body as an individual. In fact, if you look at us right now as a human being, if I feel pain, if I'm in pain, nobody else can feel the pain I feel. If you're in pain, I can't feel your pain. I can feel sorry for you. I can empathize with you, but I cannot feel your pain. But in this world, we will actually be able to feel the emotions of other people. You can actually not just transfer data and sensory information, but emotion. I can actually, I would know your pain, you would know our pain, and human beings would never be alone.
Of living beings. And we are fighting so hard.
We will come to a point where we, as gods, like gods, will be creating our own reality. We will be redefining what the human experience is for the first time in history. This can happen, and it will happen, but what we want to think about is this. Technology is really powerful. The internet, being connected, is really powerful. But we've already seen, in a very primitive way, just with our cell phones, these primitive devices, how it can totally change our life. Like all of our lives are changed by WeChat. All of our lives are changed by the internet. Well, we are embarking on a path now where we will become the internet. The internet will become us. They will be inseparable. We'll have our storage and everything else all over the place. And when we do that, we have to understand that this is a big responsibility. It's something we as a society, we as a human race, must think about very, very carefully. Because imagine, people can hack your cell phone now. People can hack your computer. And it can be bad. They can steal your banking information, take all your money. They can steal your identity. But they can't really hurt you. In the future, though, if somebody hacks into your head because it's connected to the internet, they can steal you. They could actually steal you. They can implant memories in your head that you don't have. They could erase memories. They could control you in ways that you wouldn't even know you're being controlled. Is this scary? So I painted on the hand a heaven, but there is also a hell. Right? This is heaven and hell. We are on the cusp of this technology that is so powerful and has the potential to so radically transform our lives and our existence. And we have to be very careful about how we do this. We don't want people controlling us. So think about this. Think very carefully. Everybody in this room are very smart people. You're all highly educated. We are going to be making these decisions that lay the groundwork for this technology in our lifetime. And those decisions will affect the rest of humanity more than any decisions we have made in the past. So I want to thank you. I am the author also of this book, Making Elephants Fly, published by Zhang Xin. And I love China. I travel here all the time looking at new technologies. And I just want to say it's been a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
76.
523. The medical industry, unfortunately,
I'm going to say 5 words. You don't have to repeat them, but just listen to them.
Military
Cat,
applications,
book,
and that's for a
cigar,
reason. They have to take an oath, do no harm. But as we found out during the Gulf War or Desert Storm, we tortured a few people, as Clinton said. I think it was Clinton. We do things that the public can't know about because they would feel too much shame that their tax dollars were being used in such a way. They would lose their funding potentially. But there are other ways other than chipping. There are about 26 other ways, but I'm not going to get into them. And all are being explored. That's why they need so many humans to do this survey, if you will. And one such example is nanoprotein, magnetic nanoproteins. Now, how they're delivered to the individual, there's a variety of mechanisms that can do that, but they permanently attach to the nerve cells and brain cells, and hence just a magnetic field that is biosynchronized, biocorrelated to your brain pan will only affect you, not the person next to you. So you have been turned into a cell phone, in a sense.
In the party, trying to disconnect, out of body, in my element, nearly flying, ready to transcend. Then I hear my phone ring and it's you again, complaining, so restraining. Won't you loosen your grip, need space here, solo raving. Give me less of your lip and pace it. Cool it with the statements, cool it with the sensitive. But no, I still hear the tone. You must be out of your mind, blowing me up on my phone line. Why you blowing up my phone line? Told me and I'm a decline, I'm gon' decline, and I'm gon' get back on my own time. Won't lie, I'm about to leave you on silence. Out of your mind, I'm about to leave you on silence. Why you blowing up my phone line? Call me and I'm a decline, I'm gonna get back on my own time. Won't lie, I'm about to leave you on silence. Still in the party, trying to disconnect, but you gon' stop me. You won't get out my head. So cool it with the statements, cool it with the sensitive. But no, I still hear the tone. You must be out of your mind, out of your mind, blowing me up on my phone line. Why you blowing up my phone line? Call me and I'm a decline, I'm gon' decline, and I'm gon' get back in my own time. Won't lie, I'm about to leave you on silence. I'm about to leave you on silence.